Okay, hey there guys, so in this war we're up against Legion, which this one, as you can tell, this is only a single war, so there are a couple more fights in this war, like for an individual war, but I'll be honest, it's not too many more fights, it's just the fights take a little bit longer, even though the other one had Thing. You'll see these fights. There are some weird fights in here. So this first fight here it's pretty simple. It's just an Annihilus. So the main thing here would be that he has the minus 95% nullify ability, but if I can get it right, the Mystic Ward effect, but staggers bypass that. So if I'm able to get my stagger going and anything like that, I was trying to decide if I was going to put on a 3-minute boost here, but I knew I wanted some 3-minute boosts later in the war, and again I was pretty confident that we would win this war when we started it. Kind of similar to the D69. By the way, this is War 2 currently. Oh, and I guess the rich get richer is also important, because I don't want to let him build up too many Furies. So right around here, if you saw, I was able to get it to where he, I nullified something. I nullified one of the buffs you get from him passing a power threshold due to the node, which somehow removed the, his rod, which then just makes this fight easier. And I think I did do it in there, is I did a little dex in there intentionally, so I would reset his rich get richer Furies. It's nothing big, but it does help. Right there, I made sure, I believe I had a stagger on him. Right, I had a stagger on him. Oh, I didn't actually have a stagger on him. I was just willing to go in for that because I would easily get back up to my SP2 with Mystic Dispersion. I had to wait at this Rinchaw for a while because I didn't know it, but I think it was Kome had to swap his masteries around a lot this war. I was like, man, what's taking him so long? He's just like finishing a fight and just chilling for a while. But so I'm hitting a little talk, and all I'll say, no spoilers, is that if you talk trash, you get smacked always, which is why I try not to talk too much trash. Because you always get smacked. Always. But, so this war was off to a good start for us. Was this that war? I think someone in BG1 was like one of their only deaths, and it might have already happened at this point. I don't think so. I was trying to remember the score, I'm sorry. Friend took the Mangog, and now it's time for this Mordo. So I have my White Magneto. I even have the White Magneto synergy, which, in case you guys don't know, when Apocalypse is banned and you can't have Horsemen on your Archangel, the White Magneto synergy is like a lesser version of that, if I'm being honest. It's not quite as drastic, but it gives you an extra 15% or something ability accuracy, so it just makes your Archangel a little bit more likely to get those bleeds going, which of course is really, really good and helpful. Also, this is that new node, so it has Scared Stiff, so if you play too passive and you're not able to hit them frequently, you're going to get a short root. Of course, you can remove any root by throwing a special, but that's never fun. He's also Conduit, also has Bubble Shield, and now instead of Power Focus 1, which is what this node used to have, it has Power Focus 2, which plays a lot better with a Mordo placement here, because Power Focus doesn't affect his passive power gain from his MD or from the power gain buffs. So as you see, I'm 2 heavies in, and no bleeds. The 9th hit, I finally get 2. I decide to block that to avoid Mystic Dispersion. I actually get a poison, and now I'm rooted. I get that, and the fight's actually going pretty okay so far. Right, like this is alright. He has a couple conduit debuffs, and right there, I was kind of getting a little bit greedy. I was trying to time it so I could remove his power gain, but he ended up not really playing into me there, and then I ended up getting rooted, and then my stuns are now starting to go off, and I cannot attack in during these stuns. I'm rooted. He has his power gain, so he's passive, I can't move, and he hits an SP3. Kind of forgot to mention this before the fight. As you saw, I put on the 33% boost. I was considering just doing that. I'm like, this one doesn't have, like, this should be easier than the old Mixmaster node. Like, why do I need an invul? But then I'm like, you know what? Second war of the season, I'll play this safe, I'll throw that invulnerability on. And somehow, for some reason, he's just starting to play a bit weird. My heavies, I'm not having great RNG. I'm already over a minute into the fight, and he's only halfway down. And right there, because of the root, because of the way MCOC is, with the dexing, I then also had... I just lost the other 2 hits of my invulnerability. He had a couple Furies going there. Fortunately, that 33% boost is coming in big time right there. So here, I'm like trying to do anything I can. I need to make sure I'm also tracking my bubble shield now, because as you know, with Mordo, ability accuracy doesn't really affect him. So even when I have my Neuros on, I'm still going to build up bubble shield charges, so I gotta watch out for that. There is just a lot going on in this fight, and I was just having terrible luck. Some terrible choices too, like that, because I kind of forgot about Archangel's stun, if I'm being 100% honest. Which then, of course, because I stun him, I can't hit his power gain off. Right here, I got so lucky. That was the only lucky part of the fight, was he decided to let me parry him those 2 times, and I was actually about to throw my SP1 just in case. Someone else took that bishop, and so now I reboost. Oh, that's right, we did have a really early death this war. That was this war. So, this Korg here, I don't get any of the white mags, but I'll be honest, you don't really need it for this fight. I ended up still playing kind of sloppy, actually, for this fight, now that I think about it. So I go for the power start 1, just so I can kind of try to carry it from this into the next. I don't know if it comes through perfectly well in the video. When you're watching it on like the rendering, it's a little bit more jittery than it is even when you're playing, and that says a lot even for MCOC. So I don't know how well it comes through in the video. But when I was playing this fight, my game felt just a little bit weird. Like, you know when you play we all play MCOC a lot, you can tell when it feels a little bit off. And that's just kind of how it felt, like right there, it didn't dash. It was stuff like that, it just felt a little bit off. Actually, I also had a head cold that day, which really sucked. I couldn't it was really bad. It was a very annoying one. Man, I swear, like, half the time I make a war video, just, like, something weird's happening off of the game as well. So, the SP3, I was able to actually get my light intercept off, thankfully, right before throwing it. And right here, I'm trying to decide if I want to throw it right away. As you can see, there's, like, that little split-second decision. So I decided to throw it, even knowing my incinerates are going to get purified, deciding that I'll sacrifice those like couple ticks for having all that extra damage with my double fury because of the passive node. So right there, I go for the light intercept, but he decides to throw his SP1. I was okay knowing if I would take that. Again, the AI has been really good and weird lately, where they're like throwing specials into your light intercept at the perfect time or stuff like that. And that SP2 finished him off rather nicely, just toasted him up. So now, oh yeah, I kind of forgot about that. So as you see, like some people from other BGs like come through and watch when you take fights in waves. It's just kind of what we've been doing for a bit now. When I was doing my Archangel versus Mordo fight, some of the officers, when I came out of it, I saw there's like a couple officers were in the war, like watching it, and they're like, he went in with Doom accidentally, didn't he? He must have gone in with Doom. Because this season, I've just been having weird stuff happen to me, so it would have fit. So here for this Mojo, I've taken this before. He tends to play pretty aggressive on that first dash, and I have the White Magneto pre-fight here, I believe. Right there, I was pretty annoyed with that block a hit one, because just it's block a hit. It's such a common thing to do. And right here, I'm just looking for my intercept before I throw my SP3, and I really wanted to get him into the Doom cycle, but he was just throwing that SP1 a little bit too willingly. I should have gone for the heavy right there, so that way he'd have a little bit more power. It's not a massive difference, but it does help when you're using a champion like Doom. It's also just a little bit more damage with the big passive fury that you get. Like, right, he would have just been a little bit higher right there. So I put him below 1 bar, and I'm just above 1 bar. So what I really want is I want to keep him below 2, because 2 is that SP2. If I went for the light and I got hit, that'd be game over. I just could not go for light intercept if he has 2 bars of power. But fortunately, he ends up holding block right after I throw my SP2, so he lets the incinerates go. So now, here's a fight that I didn't realize I made this mistake until after the fight. Hosey, also OP, Mans was going crazy on the Quake gameplay. He was literally just quaking half of the map for fun that day. Just like so easily. He's such a good Quake player, man. So, round 3, I guess this is round 3 right here, and with the White Magneto, this is a fight I am confident in taking. I've taken it before, and it's a fight I've done, so I throw in that invulnerability, and I forgot the class power back boost, which I don't know like how required that is for this fight, but it is something I liked having the last time I took this for real, because the last time I took it was a cleanup fight, I believe, so I didn't put it on, or I might have had it on still, but I remember I liked having the power back boost on just because it gives you so much power, and you don't really need to use your SP1 in this fight because you can't power steal. So right there, missed the parry right off the bat. So here's the biggest mistake of the fight. First combo in, I forget a champion that I have at rank 4 and I used for Act 8 for his shock immunity, I forgot was shock immune. So I go in for my... By the way, I slowed this whole fight down. So I go in for my fight, and I throw the heavy, and I eat a combo. I eat another combo right away. Right away. Fortunately, this time I'm not, like, trying to hit into that heavy, but he goes unblockable. And as you see, I now missed, like, 2 dexes / parries. As I said earlier, the game was feeling a little bit weird, but that does not excuse what's going on here. I'm missing parries, I'm missing the dex. That opening missed parry is actually really big because each time you block, he gets closer to that next unblockable. And if you can play really aggressively, you can make it so it's mostly his regens proccing, and you can do damage through like your big hits that won't really be regened. And I'm also giving him a lot of prowess, probably more than I really should. As you can see, he's also at 2 indestructible charges, and right there, I feel like I'm dashing back, but I also felt like I should have been out of range, but his wing just clips me. So I'm going to throw this, and I trigger his indestructible. And then I also trigger his Conflictor. And I'm... Also, another mistake is, the last time I was kind of baiting the SP2s more, which I've gotten like better at dexing. I still know how to dex SP1, but I'm just like taking it in the block, I'm missing the dex and I'm getting hit in the face by it. And I'm against my wall. He's unblockable. I actually get the dex there. And I'm just in my wall, I'm in my corner. This is not where you want to fight in a Master's War when you're, especially not in GT40, you don't want to be here. He has prowess, and that's a big one. That's 6k into block, and right away, he throws it. I'm smashing my SP1 button there, but he doesn't care. He throws his SP1, and it knocks me out, which really hurt. Again, kind of like the last time I had a death, really early in the season, so early in. So I'll still say I think the game felt a little bit weird. I'll explain that a little bit more in a second. But it doesn't really excuse that death. It doesn't. I've taken that fight before. It's a fight I knew I can take, and that's right when I realized, or was it even then? It might have been after the fight, because right there I was just like, oh frick me, and I was just. Sometimes, you know, officers like, oh, don't go right back into your fight or whatever, but I was like, no. I got off half his health, completely throwing. As long as I go and I don't play like terrible, I'll clean this up. And so I do. I go back in, and I'm off to the same mistake right away. I miss the parry. So but now here I'm actually able to get off his regen charges. He goes unblockable so fast as well. And again, I probably should have been baiting his SP2s more. That was one thing I was talking about with someone with afterwards, and yeah, I think that's what I also did in the first go, was I was baiting SP2 more instead of SP1s, because it gives him all those extra charges to get his unblockable and his indestructible more often. So right there, I decided I'll throw this SP3 before his indestructible so I can get off a little bit of damage. Smart and a bad play at the same time. Smart, I get my big damage in, I get my big chunk. Bad because when you nullify his wait, why is his indestructible far away again? But when you nullify his indestructible or his unblockable, it brings him back as a passive for longer. So right there, I trigger his unblockable. I don't know if it was really a smart time or smart choice, but I was able to time out both the indestructible and unblockable. Again, I probably should be baiting his SP2 here. Finally, I guess I do. But I eat that, and I'm like, okay, wait, I'm getting pretty close. And I was like, okay, 100%, I only ate that one hit, right? This is why I like the indestructible for this fight. I'm just going to push him to SP3. His SP3 doesn't have a DOT, it doesn't stun, doesn't do anything. I could do this one more time after this. And get ready for this. Look at like just the damage I'm able to like put in on him now consistently. This is what I was talking about. As you can see, it goes into a passive mode. So it's going to kind of hamper me for a second, but I just have to wait it out a little bit longer. So this Hulkling SP3, this is kind of the plan I had kind of for the previous fight, but I also forgot the power back boost. I want a power back boost, and I want to be able to eat SP3s, and I want to just kind of cycle my SP3s and SP2s as aggressively as I can, and I want to eat 3 SP3s in that fight if I'm being honest. So now that fight goes pretty well. And we ended 9-2 with both deaths being from BG1. It was not a great look in our second war. Yesterday's war against JA was a lot better. BG1 did not die. We donutted, I believe. We went for 0. 95% sure. That's what I remember happening, is that we went for 0, which was good after this war, because it was just not our best look in this war with the 2 of us dying. And I don't like tooting my own horn, but it was 2 pretty consistent players. I like to think I'm consistent, and the other player is also really good and consistent. So it's just a bit unlucky that we both died the same day. Yeah, not a death I like, but I hope it's something you guys can learn from. Make sure you remember that there's chalk immune. Get your power back boosts on, and really push him for your plan. That was something I just didn't execute well enough. I didn't go in with the right plan. I can blame it on anything I want, but in the end it is me. And right before I leave you guys, I just wanted to tell you something. So right after that, because I was sick that day, as I said, so I was like on Instagram, online, just chatting, just doing different things, and my phone was just like crashing, running really slow. Same with right after that. And after the fight, I'm like, man, my game just felt so bad though while I was playing. So I go and I check my storage. I have 128 gigabyte storage. I was at 127.7 gigs taken. So yes, it was running slow, by the way. Like, it was legitimately running slow. But again, I should have played better or deleted stuff off my phone. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little bit longer of a one. I hope you guys' first week of war went really well. I'll be seeing you guys soon. Bye.